Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video. This is another paid request, this time for Shawn. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos or topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, video game stuff, whatever, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal, usually the best bet, or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. I'll try to get to it as soon as I can. Sorry if I sound a bit out of breath, had to do some stuff outside, but as is ready to storm outside, I'm getting ready to do a commentary that was requested for At Close Range with Sean Penn and Christopher Walken. So let's get to it. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. As we have the MGM Lion. I'm watching this on this DVD, which has colors and At Close Range on the same disc. And now we got Orion Pictures, which I guess technically came back for a little bit, but I don't know what they're doing now, because I know they released, I want to say, the Belko Experiment. Of course, back in the day, Orion, they helped release RoboCop, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, quite a few other films. And we have, Hemdale? Yeah, Hemdale. Now, this film I don't think did much at the box office, but it's a pretty decent film. It's a pretty good movie. I think the director of this went on to do Glengarry Glen Ross. I could be wrong, but I think it's the same guy. Don't quote me on that, because I'm bad at remembering that stuff. You have Sean Penn, who you never really hear of anymore. I can't think of the last big film he was in. The last film I remember him being was that film The Gunman. Kind of a below mediocre action film. Then of course you have Christopher Walken, been in various movies, The Dead Zone, The Dead Zone, Pulp Fiction, one many other. Nowadays, people kind of just look at him as how to imitate his acts, how to imitate the way he talks. But back then, he was definitely an actor taken more seriously. And you look at his cast, yeah, Candy Clark, who was in the Blah remake, 1988. We saw it. There was a Chris Penn, who was in Best of the Best 1 and 2. He had Crispin Glover, of course, from Back to the Future. You have, I want to say, Tracy Walter. That's Joker's main henchman in Batman. He was also Conan's sidekick in Conan the Destroyer. He was in one of the bad guys in Drive with Mark Dacascos. Patrick Leonard worked a lot with Madonna, and I love the score. Of course, it's a much more slowed down version of the Madonna song Live to Tell, which I don't know if that was meant for something about the score, like he did the score, it was meant for another movie, but it didn't get used, so Madonna heard it and said, hey, why don't you put it in this movie? Because Madonna and Sean Penn were an item at this point. That's why Madonna did a song for the movie. I don't mind the song Live to Tell, but I definitely love the score. I think the score, especially his main theme, works perfectly in getting us into the mood of the film. And I definitely think this is one of Sean Penn's best movies. I do like this film. I don't know if I have much to say about it, because it's, pretty straightforward. Just a good drama with some solid acting, interesting father-son dynamic where, like father, like son, like hell. Based on a true story, but how much of that, who knows, just most of the time, that's bullshit. It's like the idea, but everything else is different. I think the date there said it was 1978 when this takes place. People just drive tractors around the damn road. This time when Sean Penn was just interested in being an actor instead of political activist, whatever the hell you want to call him nowadays. making all these statements. Well, wasn't he the one who said, I'll burn my Oscar or melt it or whatever the fuck it was, and then it never happened. So it was like, just shut up, dude. Make some good movies or shut up. God, do your job. Not going to do your job, then just sit tight and shut up. I just, nowadays people probably remember him from a Mystic River. He was in that one film called Milk. Of course, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. This isn't. Well, if I can read it. This is all in red. Two brothers stuck and impoverished. Why did they make this in red so you can barely read the fucking thing? Two brothers stuck in an impoverished household. Their father, a notorious professional criminal, drifts in every now and then to leave them some money, but he never stays. The boys are intrigued by their father and his criminal lifestyle, his money and his girlfriends, and want to get closer to him. Eventually, the father agrees to plan petty heists for the older brother's gain. The father's truly evil nature is revealed when he willingly sacrifices his sons to save his own life. Well, he tries to sacrifice one. He does successfully the other. So yeah, there's Chris Penn on the right, and then on the left is Stephen Jeffries. Evil Ed from the original Fright Night. Also the star of 976 Evil. Pretty good stunt, even for the up close shots where you see Sean Penn. He's probably tied into there, but still, there's always room for danger, especially those wide shots. Yeah, because spoilers, I mean, by the end, like Chris Penn, Stephen Jeffries, and Crispin Glover all get killed by Christopher Walken and his gang because no witnesses. It's interesting that the driver, he's not scared. He's kind of like, okay, fine, here. Not the typical, oh my god, I'm scared. Which would be understandable too, but just, they went with a different way, different route with it, which was interesting. Makes it seem a bit different. I'm trying to remember, I think this came out in 1980. It says here 85, but I thought it was 86. So I can't remember the year. On the back of the DVD it says 85, but like I said, I could have sworn it was 86. I mean, still 2 good years for movies. If it was 85, I mean, action film wise, you had Rambo First Blood Part 2, you had Commando, you had Death Wish 3, you had, what was it, trying to think, Chuck Norris, was it Code of Silence? Something like that, 85 for Chuck Norris. If it was 86, I mean, you had Aliens, Big Trouble in Little China, The Golden Child, Top Gun, all sorts of stuff. Oh, you don't be a pill popper. Don't be a pill popper. Well, you have a doofy hair like Sean Penn has. Not the best. I mean, I shouldn't be one to talk. I wouldn't mind any hair. That's why I shave it. Just shave it all. But still, that's pretty. I mean, it's pure '80s hair. Not many people be caught dead having that hair nowadays. I mean, people give mullets a hard time. I think mullets look perfectly fine. Like on John Van Damme and Hard Target, or Kurt Russell, Big Trouble in Little China, or Stallone and Rambo 2 or 3. I think they work well. As long as the right guy, utilized for it. But of course, we're going to establish our love story here between these two, Sean Penn, and is it Mary Stuart Masterson, I believe? Yeah, Mary Stuart Masterson. Don't remember what else she's been in. She looks familiar, though. Yeah, we're going to establish our household. Man, those old school commercials, man. Yeah, I know how that goes. Whenever you live in the middle of nowhere, you're always going to run into bugs like that, no matter what you do. And here we got Crispin Glover looking high as a kite on the couch. Sean Penn wearing his Harley Davidson shirt. Definitely pumped up too. You looked at his arms. Fairly pumped up for this. And here's Christopher Walken. One of those few times I've seen him in, like, not just with a mustache, but like almost like a blonde looking mustache. But I mean, Christopher Walken, I mean, he's been in a ton of stuff. I mean, The Deer Hunter, and I mentioned Pulp Fiction, The Dead Zone. I really like a film he's in. I really like is called All American Murder. True Romance. That's another one. There's a ton of stuff. What was that one film? Suicide Teens. He was in that one. Just a ton of stuff. Suicide Teens. That's the one where all the guys like kidnap him and he kind of talks them down and with his verbiage has them working against each other while he's tied up. Been a long time since I've seen Suicide Teens. But yeah, Christopher Walken does a good job here because you can kind of see why they're getting treated. Seems like the cool father, but then, because he's only in here a little bit. Or is that Mary Stuart Masterson? And the other girls. I can't remember who Mary Stuart Masterson is now. Was it the girlfriend or was it the mom? I can't remember. So if it's the mom, I apologize. I fucked up. Can't remember which is which. Like I said, I'm not an expert at this movie, so. Again, Mary Stuart Masterson. I can't remember if that's the girlfriend or the mom. Yeah, but pretty much this guy drifts in and out of the life, and you tell these two want nothing to do with him because they know how dangerous he is. Although they're willing to accept the money, maybe out of fear, maybe just out of necessity. And this thing, like, you think about you live in the 80s, the mid 80s, right? In the middle of nowhere like this. What is there to do? I mean, you think about it. Nowadays, teens, young adults, kids, however you want to put it, are so honed in on technology. Cell phones, you do anything on a cell phone, watch movies, play games, everything on a cell phone, laptop computers, play games, watch movies, communicate, do live streams, do blogs, do vlog. Like, it's such a whole different world compared to then. You had none of that. Even like video game wise, maybe you could go to an arcade. Maybe. Movies, I mean, maybe whatever you see on TV with the few channels you have. I don't even know how VHS was around this era, but not. Now this guy here with the talking, I recognize him. He was in Southern Comfort. In the film Southern Comfort, he was the sort of the more religious of the National Guard. That when things are going up shit creek, he kind of loses it. Not kind of, he does lose it. Burns the place down, puts like a cross on his chest as, quote, a joke. But he loses it. He pretty much loses his mind. And thus he's easy pickings for the hillbillies and the bayou, so to speak. Love Southern Comfort. Great movie. Fred Ward, Powers Booth, T.K. Carter from John Carpenter's The Thing. A lot of good people in that. Walter Hill directed it, who did The Warriors. Obviously, you see a bit more of the friction here with the stepfather. Which is why he's going to be more drawn to his actual father and what's going on with him. And I was saying, like, what is there to do? Like, you look at the display, it's this rundown TV with like 5, 6 stations. Not much you probably don't do in your room. Guy like this is a troublemaker, so like, what you don't do? I mean, that's the thing, is that I mean, we live in a state of affairs today that if you worked it the right way, you never have to go outside. You could, if you're in the right location, you got the right amount of money, you could work from home, order your food from home, order your groceries from home, everything in between. Not the case here in this era. Getting more and more drawn to the father. And yeah, this DVD, I mean, it's such a lazy one. It's 2 movies on one, and look at the cover. The cover is so lazy. Much prefer the poster, where it's one on one side, one on the other, and the tagline, like father, like son, like hell. But yeah, sadly, the film didn't do anything. Didn't make any money, or wasn't a game buster hit or anything. I don't know how much money it made, to be fair. But it wasn't like this big breakout success, I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah, this is pretty much all you could do, is just have one little TV and just see what happens next. It's just so strange, it's so rare to see Christopher Walken with a mustache, just a very unique look. And we have sort of his gang of criminals. There's Tracy Walter with a little bit of. I think the one guy there who kind of. That's David Strathairn? Yeah. The one who's like. What we're seeing right now and kind of shifty eye. David Strathairn, that's the guy from. He was in Mimic with Mira Sorvino. And there's Candy Clark. Recognize her. And she was in the Blob remake, or she would be after this. She was in, was it Q the Winged Serpent, I believe, the Larry Cohen film. So, yeah, there's Tracy Walter there, patting Sean Penn on the shoulder. And that's the thing, like, Christopher Walken seems like a nice guy, seems like an easygoing guy. Hey, come on, relax, blah, blah, blah. when Christopher Walken gets you with that gaze and that tone of voice, he just holds the strain. This is a guy that, I mean, he's had a pretty good career. It still seems like he should have been a bigger star, like leading man, but he did do did alright for himself. Like I say, he was in the Dead Zone. What was he? He was that film, The Dogs of War, McBain, a few, quite a few others. Of course, we have our Dane here doing one of their petty, their crimes, their heists. Tracy Walter not paying enough attention, going in business for his own, which is detrimental. So yeah, this David Sustainer. The other guy, I know I recognize him from something. I can't remember where though. See, this guy was not paying attention. Not doing his job. That's going to cost him. It's going to cost him. Like, look at those thick ass walkie talkies. Thick ass walkie talkies you'd be using back in the day. I mean, if you're in the middle of perhaps getting all this money, why would you care about getting a fucking whatever the hell this is, this little trinket? Like, this opportunity to have this much money and you want to blow it for this little fucking dainty thing. Le Lounge. Le Fruit. Ain't that a peach? You eat a peach for hours. There you go. Dive in, Sean Penn. But clear your hair first. Yeah, Sean Penn is fucking buff in this. He really took time to work out for this role. His shirt's like really tight too. Like, look how shirt fucking fucking Sean Penn's shirt is. Yeah, pay with cash. Why not? Maybe this is one of those things where Christopher Walken's character, he's kind of having fun being a dad. He's like, hey, this is actually pretty good until it starts messing with his business and livelihood. And then when that switch flips, it's every man for himself. Of course, Shawn and Chris Penn. Chris Penn, yeah, passed away way, way too young, man. But yeah, Chris Penn, I mean, he had been a lot of stuff. It was, like I say, he was in Best of the Best. He was in Best of Best 2. He did a good job in I think he was in the first Rush Hour movie. Yeah, because he was doing the deal with Chris Tucker at the beginning of the film. And then there's the interrogation scene. Why don't you kiss my ass? Oh, come on. Take me all day to kiss your ass. Come on, man. Can't remember when Chris Penn passed away. Rush Hour might have been one of his last movies, to be honest. We got the Amish here. Hey, guys, have you seen Harrison Ford lately? Is he still looking for that little boy? With his protection. What is it, the same shirt? Or just every shirt he wears just ready to just strangle him? I just like, hey, I worked out, I'm gonna show it to the world. It's like Sean Penn trying to look like Brock Lesnar or something. Oh shit, it's the 70-20. Ah, here we go. I guess they had these two on here because they both have Sean Penn in it, colors and at close range. And this 2-pack here. Sorry, this might not be the most exciting commentary because this is a film that I probably have only seen. This might be my second. Okay, yeah. My second or third time. Probably my second or third time watching it. So, I don't have, quote, fond memories as in, I didn't grow up with the film. I didn't watch the film a lot. It's not a childhood favorite. It's not a film I know left to right, up and down, back to front. Expert on it. Don't know a lot of details. There's really no features. I don't even know if this has a Blu-ray. It might. Even if it did, I don't know if it has any features on it. But just, it's not a film really anyone mentions, but again, pretty good. And what its job and detail, and just this guy falling in love with this girl, being mesmerized in a way by this lifestyle this dad has, and if he can make money and do this, maybe he'd take this girl and get somewhere and happily ever after. That's the dream, right? Yeah, just old school TV back in the day. Yeah, Tracy Walter definitely became one of those character actors that I recognize that guy because it's like, oh, he's in. I say he was in Conan the Destroyer with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was the thief. He was the sidekick with Arnold. He was in, like I said, Batman '89. Sort of the main henchman for Joker. He was in City Slickers. He was the cook. Just one of those guys that would pop up from time to time. I wonder if it was in the script that Christopher Walken was eating during the scene, or if it was one of the scenes that's like, hey, can I have something like this? I have something to do, and instead of just standing there. It's one of those little things you don't think about, but you have to write into a script where, okay, if you have a character just standing there, that's one thing, but if not, then what's he going to be doing? Does he have something in his hand? Is he working on something? Is he writing something? Is he, in this case, eating something? Okay, what is he eating? What kind of food is it? How do you prepare it? How do you prepare it in a way where if you do multiple takes, you can't be eating, swallowing it because it'll make them sick. So a lot of times people will eat it and then they spit it out into a bucket or something. Okay, here's a new supply. So if people do see, there's no continuity mistakes. Unless you can barely see the food, it's like, okay, well, it doesn't matter as much. There's a car here. Nice looking car too. Not too shabby, not too shabby. So Chris will walk in, the other two are playing with Monopoly. That's what you did back in the day. That's what I was saying. Like that's what you would do that stuff back in the day. Family night, you're playing a board game. I wonder when was the last time someone actually a group of people sat down and played a board game. Sorry, Monopoly, whatever the case may be. Probably not for a long, long time. Because you play a game now, you just just go play online or something. God damn it. Oh, that's great, yeah. Just spill the water. Granted, it's just water, but still. Because that's the thing, this thing's supposed to be shut so it wouldn't spill, but of course, lo and behold, it did. So go fucking figure. Oh well. It's water, so it's fine. Especially with this fucking place. I mean, I'm sure I could probably look up info on the film if I wanted. Just go over there and reach the phone. Tell us Sean Penn's definitely more of the Chris Penn is much more the hesitant one. Director definitely captures the area they're showcasing in. Rundown places, the grasslands, all that type of stuff. Definitely showcases the geography of everything. Let's see. Oh, at close range, okay. Yeah, it says here 1986. But on the back of the DVD it says 1985. No, I do not want Rotten Tomatoes. So yeah, James Foley, the director, he did Glengarry Glen Ross, so yeah, he did do that. He did The Chamber, that's the one with Gene Hackman and Chris O'Donnell, based on a John Grisham novel. Fear, he did that with Mark Wahlberg. The Corruptor with Chow Yun-Fat. 50 Shades Darker and 50 Shades Freed, so he did 2 of the 50 Shades movies. Must have really needed the money. Yeah, released April 18th, 1986. Grossed a total of $2.3 million at the North American box office, earning less than its production budget of $6.5 million. So this was a bomb. This was a total fucking bomb. Damn. Holy shit, that is a bomb and a half. You definitely see a bit of the danger of Christopher Walken's character in this scene. Maybe one of the first instances there's the son see a bit of who this guy really is. Especially that gaze right there. Damn, just look at that look Walken gives. If anyone gives you that kind of look, you should just walk the opposite way as fast as you fucking can. Yeah, Walken's not laughing. Yeah, Mary Stuart Masterson. That is the name of the girlfriend, Terry. Some Kind of Wonderful, Fried Green Tomatoes, Radioland Murders, Bed of Roses. I guess she's in the new Five Nights at Freddy's movie as Aunt Jane. So there you go. And that's a very, very young Kiefer Sutherland right there on the far right. So wow, just imagine that. Sean Penn, Kiefer Sutherland, Crispin Glover, Stephen Jeffries, Tris Penn, all in the same game. Crazy when you look at that. So the film was shot in Franklin and Spring Hill, Tennessee, while depicting incidents in Chester County and Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Three and a half out of 4 stars by Roger Ebert. Few recent films have painted such a bleak picture of human nature. Yeah, you look at Sean Penn's career, and you see this is a guy that he had done Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Falcon and the Snowman, this movie, Shane Surprise with Madonna, which was a big flop, Colors, Casualties of War is a great one, Casualties of War with Michael J. Fox, Carlito's Way with Al Pacino, Dead Man Walking, which was a decent movie. I liked it. The Game, I really liked that one with Michael Douglas. The Thin Red Line, another one I enjoyed. Somehow made a cameo in Pauly Shore's Dead. Mystic River, 21 Grams. Let's see, what was this? Milk, as a person, Harvey Milk. Gangster Squad, I forgot he was in that. The Gunman. He was in The Professor and the Madman with Mel Gibson. Flag Day with his daughter Dylan Penn. Licorice Pizza with Paul Thomas Anderson directing. Something called Black Flies, a thriller drama. Some film I never heard of. Daddy-O and Gonzo Girl. And then let's look at Christopher Walken. As our character here is getting his face fixed up. Yeah, The Deer Hunter definitely got him some notice. He was in Heaven's Gate, another Michael Cimino film. Brainstorm, The Dead Zone. He was the James Bond villain in View to a Kill. This film. He was in the film Deadline. Who plays a journalist. set up amidst the Lebanese civil war and is fed false information. Biloxi Blues with Matthew Broderick. Homeboy with Mickey Ward. He voiced Puss in a 1988 musical version of the story Puss in Boots. Wow. Communion, that was the Alien movie based on the book by Whitley Strieber. Team New York, how could I forget that? Abel Ferrara. All American Murder, I enjoyed. Batman Returns as Matt Shrek. True Romance. Pulp Fiction, Nick of Time with Johnny Depp. Another Abel Ferrara film, The Addiction. The Prophecy, of course. He was in a bunch of the Prophecy movies. Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis, which I enjoy that film. Voice of pretty much the main villain in Ants. Sleepy Hollow, he was the Headless Horseman. Let's see. Catch Me If You Can, Spielberg film. I forgot he was in Kangaroo Jack, that's right. Which I did see in the theater. Man on Fire, worked with Denzel Washington and Tony Scott. Clicked, worked with Adam Sandler in that. Seven Psychopaths, which I remember not minding. He was the voice of King Louie in the Jon Favreau Jungle Book movie. Oh, they did remember the Big Lebowski? They did that spinoff. Don't mess with the Jesus. The John Turturro role, he came back to play that role, and no one remembers or liked that film. The War with Grandpa with Robert De Niro. Apparently Christopher Walken's in that one. Percy. About a farmer takes on a giant corporation after their GMOs interfere with his crops. So, drama. And he's going to be in Dune Part 2. I shot him the fourth. So there you go. He's going to be in Dune Part 2. Let's see what we got here. When Christopher Walken works with guns in films, he checks them himself before each scene for safety reasons and his own personal ease. During the scene when Sean Penn sticks a gun in Walken's face, Walken checked the gun before the scene started. Before the director had the chance to say action, Sean Penn ran off camera and shouted, "Give me the other gun." He immediately returned to Walken and started the scene. This is the cut that made it into the movie, and Walken was really terrified. Yeah, I don't blame him. Based on the actual crimes of Bruce Johnston Sr. in Chester County, Pennsylvania. Actress Eileen Ryan, who plays Grandma, is actually the real-life mother of the Penn brothers, Shawn and Chris Penn, but plays not their mother, but their grandmother. Hmm. See these other people. Seeing who these other people, if Reginald's really are. No. I said you can't even find much information on the film. No, not really. Not much there. Not much there to look into. So there you go. And sorry if you hear my stomach is just haven't eaten yet. I'll eat after this. All right. I say it's pretty much speaks for itself. Is that much really talked about in terms of a commentary? Just this young guy getting more and more sucked into this criminal enterprise, and it seems like he's on top of the world. He's got a father that seems cool. He's got a way to make money and maybe get out of here. He's got this girlfriend who's a beautiful looking lady, and then of course, shit hits the fan. Shit is going to hit the fan. It is a pretty dark movie. I mean, spoiler alert for the one person. Thank you, Shawn, by the way. I hope you enjoy this, because I guarantee you'll be the only person watches, because I'm pretty boring at this stuff. I mean, most of Sean Penn's friends get killed and murdered. She gets raped by uh, Christopher Walken and gets killed, dies. So really, the only people he has is his mom, I think his grandma. I think some of the friends are alive. I forget if it was like Kiefer Sutherland, maybe. I think he's alive. And can't remember who else. And as we get that conversation between Sean Penn and Walken. And that's crazy. Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland, he's like not used at all. I mean, such a waste. Because they didn't know what kind of guy, what kind of actor you would become, but. Just see this bristling anger in Christopher Walken's face and body. Maybe this guy isn't as great as you like to think, Sean Penn. Sort of the warning signs are there. Sally notices way, way too late. That's where you get that good scene at the end where he's in the trial and Sean Penn is breaking down. Who is that guy? Pretty much say he's my father. Yeah, that great I do like the song "Live to Tell," mainly because of the music by Patrick Leonard. Boom, ding, 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 but down, down, down. Madonna, she's fine as a singer, a lot better than me. But it's mainly the music itself, the composition by Patrick Leonard that really makes the song work. Listen, this not a movie about car chases or explosions or multiple heists and all that stuff. It's this father-son relationship, how it just completely goes out the window by the third act. Maybe there's a party that hopes this will succeed, that these two, but Sally, you know, Chris Walker's character is just a hateful, evil person. He's just evil person. Evil. Manipulative, like the devil, manipulative but evil. Manipulative, I mean, seems like a cool guy, like, hey, soft pat on the shoulder, hanging out, all that stuff, but yeah, do you really want to be sleeping with your on your gun? I don't care if your fingers by the trigger or not. I'm not going to be sitting there with the barrel of a gun right here. I don't care if the trigger is, if there's a mile away from someone holding the trigger. No. I'm not going to sit there and have the gun right there. Come on now, man. For fuck's sake. Shit. So Sean Penn's going to be the lookout with the walkie-talkie. And those old school walkie-talkies. So Tracy Walter didn't kill him. So Sean Penn hold a walkie-talkie to him as if it was a gun, and so maybe it's one of those things that they'll shoot the guy later, or Walter expected him to Tracy Walter to shoot him. Or they'll take care of it later. You really have a sense of proudness on Christopher Walken's face. But at the same time, when the shit hits the fan, really no hesitation. There's that fucking guy there once again. That guy's gonna see his last meal. Yeah, that guy ain't gonna make it too long. Like the jacket Christopher Walken's wearing. Yeah, like black, like leather jacket. Oh, this guy here. Yeah, he. This guy pretty ballsy. Like, I mean, you see how big these guys are and how intense Christopher Walken is, and you don't want to fuck with them? I have a death wish or something? Like, what the fuck, dude? It's one of those things like you know something's going to happen. It's just a matter of when, and that's the suspense. Like you know something's going to happen. It's just when is it going to happen? It's on a side note. It's kind of interesting. Like I was looking through the stuff. I mentioned like he was. I forgot he was in Click. Christopher Walken clicked with Adam Sandler. And how Adam Sandler was able to get all these actors. Like think about it. Harvey Keitel and Little Nicky, Al Pacino and Jack and Jill, Christopher Walken and Click. Has he gotten Robert De Niro? No, because I'm thinking Meet the Parents with Ben Stiller. I am surprised he has not gotten Robert De Niro, if that's the case. Daisy's. I'm trying to think. I don't think he ever did get Robert De Niro, which I'm pretty surprised. And with all the other actors, James Caan got to him and what was it? That's My Boy. Of course, Burt Reynolds in The Longest Yard. It's like Clint Eastwood and Robert De Niro he didn't get. Which is surprising. You look at how many comedies Robert De Niro has done. Surprised he never did Adam Sandler. Unless he did when I completely forgotten it, but. Yeah, you see Sean Penn's face. I think he knows something's up, and just a bad feeling. Doesn't have to say it out loud, but Sean Penn knows he got a bad feeling about this. Because they're going in the middle of fucking nowhere. I think we, the audience, knows what's going to happen. And then it's all a matter of how and all a matter of when. Especially with this water. Like, you know where he's going. He's going for a swim. He ain't getting back up. Sean Penn has to know something's up with this. Has to. Yep, take the stroke right into. And like this guy is like, what is he thinking? Is it just because he's so drunk and out of it? I guess. So he's not in his right mind set, so to speak. So is that light supposed to be, I guess, the moonlight? Because it looks like a spotlight. Yep. Well, I guess do it quietly. Instead of a gunshot. Just drown him. Because he's grabbing with one hand. And now you know. I love that signature. Just that. And fade to black. In a way, kind of like a turn of the page where if you didn't know it then, you know now that this guy's willing to kill. Just, I love that move from Walken. It is cool to see Chris and Shawn in the same scene working together. I don't think they got to do that too much. I'm trying to think if they ever did it again. If so, I can't remember. But again, it's nice at least one time they got to work together and play brothers. As I said, Chris Penn just passed away way too soon. I don't remember how he passed away. Sure, look that up. Yeah, just wiping all that down, keep it as clean as possible, I guess. Got the beer, the glasses in hand, everything's fine and dandy, as if nothing happened. It's all fine and dandy. I think if you take out the end credits, we probably have about 45 minutes left, give or take. So it's pretty, I mean, pretty lengthy film, almost 2 hours. But, I mean, I don't know, did it need to be almost 2 hours? I don't know. Because I'm kind of running out of stuff to say, but I'll do my best. I mean, as of right now, the storm seems they're quiet down a little bit. See if it stays that way. Yeah, the mom and grandma are definitely paranoid. Justifiably so. And you see Sean Penn's demeanor is a little bit different now with Christopher Walken's character. He's not as jovial, perhaps. Got a little bit of worry in his eyes and his demeanor. Because you can't blame him. Up to he saw what happened. Oh yeah, Jack Nicholson. That's another one Adam Sandler worked with. So yeah, Adam Sandler's worked with Harvey Keitel, James Caan, Jack Nicholson, Al Pacino, Burt Reynolds. That's crazy, man. I mean, Jim Carrey didn't get to do that, and think of all the other comedians. Eddie Murphy, like none of these other people got to do that, but Adam Sandler did. Go figure. Yeah, you can tell that the relationship's a bit different now because of that. Oh, maybe because of the hairstyle or stuff. There are times where, for a brief second, I'm like, is that Chris Penn or Sean Penn? Because I'm so used to Sean Penn being more different hair color. But yeah, it said April 1986 this came out. Didn't do jack squat. Yeah, I didn't realize just how many fade to blacks this film uses and utilizes. It uses a lot of fade to blacks. Some may say a bit too much, but I don't know. It maybe works for this kind of story. Another fade to black. Whole litany of fade to blacks in this one. But yeah, this film didn't do anything. I mean, didn't even make back his budget. Only made like 2 million US. Jesus, I guess his own tattoo. I don't have any tattoos on myself, and I don't know. I'd just be too leery of getting one. So yeah, we got Crispin Glover on the left. We got Tiefer on the right. Stephen Jeffries, Tris Penn. Kind of wish we could have seen more of these other guys. I mean, I guess this is the sequences that we do, where they don't try to do their own stuff and make money. Of course, things don't work out the greatest. can't, can't remember if it was this scene or the other next scene. Things go up shit creek, so to speak. But I guess it is pretty early for Kiefer Sutherland's career. I mean, this is before, hell, this is before The Lost Boys. Would you really want Crispin Glover as your lookout? Like, really? Of course, Stephen Jeffries. I know what the fuck he's doing. Yep, this is when the shit hits the fan because this guy wanted a goddamn cardboard cutout of a girl. I mean, the money you get, you could buy a fucking nudie magazine. Shit. Fucking idiot. Stupid. Yep, there you go. Yeah, yep, this is where the shit hits the fan. But anyway, this is where things don't go from bad to worse. Because now, Walt and his crew are going to be worried these kids talk, or I'll give some information if we get out here, or anything in between. It's interesting that Kiefer Sutherland's not part of the group, but the other three, like Sean Penn, like it's the other three that get killed. Oh, maybe they say, hey, this Kiefer guy, I don't know, this Kiefer guy may go places. I don't know, maybe I'll keep him alive. We'll see. But yeah, this film didn't do anything. I said 1986 is one of my favorite years for movies. I mentioned, Aliens is one of my favorite films of all time. Cobra with Sylvester Stallone, personal favorite of mine. The Golden Child is my favorite comedy of all time. You got Jumpin' Jack Flash, which is my favorite Whoopi Goldberg film. You got, I think Star Trek 4 came out, and that's my favorite Star Trek film. Star Trek 4: The Voyage Home. You had Maximum Overdrive, which I love. It's fun, it's entertaining. Probably my favorite thing involving Stephen King. That or The Running Man, which was '87. And Big Trouble in Little China, The Fly remake, Iron Eagle, Firewalker, which is my favorite Chuck Norris film. Shitload of movies in 1986 that I just love and adore. Friday the 13th Part 6, one of my favorite Friday the 13th films. I mean, The list goes on, just a lot of stuff in '86. And it's sad because you look at this year, 2023, as I'm doing this, and just such a, in my opinion, a dog shit year for movies. Even 2022, I'd just say I liked Everything Everywhere All at Once. I liked Day Shift. I liked. There are a couple films in there. I have to look back on a list. My memory's not the best as it used to be. But I mean, this year, if I think of films I liked, they're like, okay, I liked it. Extraction 2, that was okay. You know, I liked it. Don't love it. Have issues with it, but I liked it. Didn't mind Missing. Didn't mind Super Mario Bros. The movie. Like, they're movies I don't mind, but they're not fantastic. Oh my god, this is amazing. This is great. I loved it. Didn't mind Sisu. Have issues with it, but didn't mind it. Renfield, I didn't mind. There's a lot of I didn't minds. What would be again? Extraction 2, Renfield, Super Mario Bros. Movie, Missing, a few others. But nothing that I love. Nothing I love. And this year, I mean, you had Barbie, you had Indiana Jones 5, you had The Flash, you had Steel Marine, you had Beau Was Afraid, you had Evil Dead Rise, Scream 6. Hey, people love them, that's great, but to me it's just such a detriment. Interesting how cornflakes is placed so prevalent in that scene. I mean, think about it, that box could have been put in any way on the side, in the corner, but cornflakes right there for all to see. Was cornflakes like a big supplier of money for this? Can you put a box right there? It'd be like if I had a Mellow Yellow can, I put it right there. It sat right there. See, I'm thinking more of Kellogg's cornflakes than the scene. Which I never ate Kellogg's cornflakes. Because I wonder if there's some kind of comparison where the previous scene we saw, he was part of. There was these groups using chickens to chicken fights, and then that scene he's eating cornflakes with a chicken on it. I don't know if that's just a weird. I don't know. There's some kind of link to that, or just a weird coincidence. Yeah, we have probably like a half an hour left. Half an hour left in the film. This probably don't be around the time where he's going to be raping this character. Well, not this character, but I mean the Sean Penn's girlfriend. Oh, Crispin Glover didn't get arrested. And Crispin Glover just doesn't realize what's going on. He's so oblivious to it. I mean, Crispin Glover, that's a guy that's done. I mean, I can't think of anything he's done in the past decade, but it's definitely a guy that. And it's his own fault. I mean, maybe he prefers it this way, but this vibe of being a kooky, weird character persona. I mean, whether it be he didn't want to return for Back to the Future Part 2, either depend who you hear. Some say he wanted too much money, which I think is probably the case, as much as he wants to deny it. I think he's like, hey, the first film made so much money, and I mean, a, a big part of the story was his character. I mean, he's the character who Marty McFly goes to his own father, the big punch at the end against Biff Tannen, all that stuff. But on the flip side, he was not going to have that big of a part in part two. Thus, it wouldn't result in a bigger paycheck. But I think that was the case. And then, from what I understand, he did sue because of the whole likeness. As in, hey, people don't think that's me. I know Crispin Glover hated the guy who played him in part two. Although you can barely tell, like, I think it's very. I don't think it's the actor's fault. I think it's just the way the character, where he's upside down to hide that's not really him. I mean, he's really in like one scene where he's upside down in the future, and his hair keeps flopping, so he keeps putting it up, even though it keeps flopping back down because he's upside down. I think that's the only scene you see the person in. I don't think there's any other scenes with it, so... I mean, Crispin Glover is very harsh on that actor, but I think it's more the... probably the portrayal he was pissed at. Yeah, this is where you don't get the assault on. Got her heavily drunk. Do all this stuff here. Yeah, did much more of this evil person Christopher Walken's portraying. Which I read somewhere that apparently this was offered to Robert De Niro, but he didn't do it because he thought the character was too dark. Which is interesting because you think about all the amount of times he's played the villain, and even he thought this part was too dark, but he's probably thinking of scenes like this. But Christopher Walken does a good job. Absolutely hateful character, but at the same time, very solid performance. But you just look at movies today, and it's probably one of the reasons I'm not so gung-ho about, like, I'm gung-ho about doing paid requests. But like movies today, I don't really. So many people ask what you look forward to. Nothing really. I mean, I get more enjoyment playing a video game nowadays than watching a movie. And in terms of especially new films, it just. I was talking about Crispin Glover. This is a very tough scene here. Scene kind of. Thankfully, they cut away. You get the gist of it. You know what's happening. You don't need to have it for 20, 30 minutes like I spit on your grave. You get the gist of it. The end all be all of it all. And the acting sells the whole thing. Sells the whole thing. Yeah, I was talking about Crispin Glover. Yeah, I mean, I think after that, his career kind of took a dive. Because that was 89, Back to the Future Part 2 came out, and very... I can only think of where Crispin Glover was in... I can't think what he was in the 90s now that come to mind. What was he in the 90s? I don't remember. Just the ones I'm thinking of is like Willard, which was in 2003 or so. Charlie's Angels, which was what, 2000. At least I think the first one was 2000, and the sequel was a few years later. So yeah, Charlie's Angels 1 and 2, and Willard the remake. But yeah, the 90s, I can't remember. I'm sure he did do stuff, but I can't remember a damn thing. Honestly, what Crispin Glover did and during that time. It just seemed like, okay, he didn't want to do it, but I think it's because he sued and he did win. I think that rubbed people the wrong way. I'm not saying he was wrong for doing it, just I think he rubbed people the wrong way. And who was all involved with Back to the Future Part 2? Robert Zemeckis, Steven Spielberg, who produced it. Christopher Walken's pissed off now. Completely pissed off. Because of what Chris Penn and the mom and stuff. Completely pissed. Talk about losing your shit. Talk about losing your shit. Nice camera work to go right into Walken's face. Sort of that big decision that's going to get into our finale of the film. So he probably told his crew exactly, we know what we're going to do. I don't know where Kiefer Sutherland is and why he wasn't part of this. Because you see Crispin Glover, you see, what, Chris Penn, Stephen Jeffries, but yeah, there's Crispin Glover. Yeah, I think Crispin knows. There you go. Just nonchalant about it. Dead men tell no tales. You know. And now rinse and repeat. We got two more. We got Stephen Jeffries, who has no idea what's happening. I guess do it one at a time. Easier for him to do it. Because Stephen Jeffries has no idea what's happening. There you go. Rinse and repeat. That's 2 down. Oh, there's Kiefer Sutherland. Guess Kiefer knew something was up, or he got lucky. His character just got extremely lucky. Or because he was in so little of the film, I think even Christopher Walken forgot about him. Maybe that was the case. Because he's been in so little of the film, again, even he forgot about it. As this is the sad, obviously the saddest one. Because it's him killing his own son. Nice lighting too. That foreboding doom, gloom of a mood. And that's kind of the thing with the movie is just enjoying good actors do their jobs well. That's kind of the crux of why I like the film is the actors doing their jobs well. There's a good cast. That crying for dad and them going liar and just shooting them right then and there. I forgot about this about about his character, David's character. But I don't forget he was like a drug abuser or something. Like I completely forgot about that part because that kind of almost comes out of nowhere. Like what the fuck happened there? Well, there's not many people left. Pretty much the people in that car and Kiefer. That's it. So pretty much here we had Shawn and his girlfriend in the back of the car, the mom and the grandma at the front of the car. Pretty much trying to figure out what to do next. We got our 5 guys here. Well, I remember the confrontation between Sean Penn and uh, Christopher Walken's character. I forget what happens to the other characters, the other four. That they just run off, or we just never see them again, or they do kill. I forget. Like I said, it's been a while since I've seen this, and again, I've only seen it once, maybe twice. Interesting, the director had decided to do a slow push and just have the actors work while this beam of light shoots out in front of us, the viewer. Yeah, I'm not sure why they cut in that scene of David like having this big drug bit of business. Like I said, I'm not sure why they cut that into it. Because there's David right there on the right. Well, I mean, they gotta know by now Chris Penn's dead. If you know, they're taking that pretty well. They say they're taking that pretty well. You know? I mean, the way Sean Penn's character has been portrayed, it seems like he would be on this rage to go avenge his brother or something. But just by this point, they gotta know something's happened to him. He hasn't come back. He's gone. Also, his friends as well hasn't seen them. They're gone. So he's gotta know by this point. Fact is, at this point, is like this is more of the realistic. Also, like, where's Kiefer Sutherland? Like, his character is just completely. He was part. He was arrested, I believe, and he was part of the group. It's like they just keep forgetting about Kiefer Sutherland's character, which is weird because it seems like he's a big part of it, and they just keep forgetting. Like, where's Kiefer? Where's Kiefer? So I think they. I mean, considering the film is about 2 hours long, I think they could have done a bit more development on the other friends, Stephen Jeffries or Crispin Glover or Kiefer. Give him a few more lines of dialogue or something, and ooh, nudity, strip club. You don't see that as often in theatrical movies. Just be deemed too sexist, I guess. One of those old school commercials from back in the day. And the mom and grandma just having a good old time, aren't they? Damn, they're taking a sweet ass time. Taking a sweet ass time because they left the one place during the day. Now it's like nighttime. Again, they're taking a sweet ass time, and it's like they could be on the fucking way. So let's not, I don't know, maybe get some propeller up your ass and move a bit. Just saying. May need to hurry this up a bit. Ooh. There you go. Ooh, right on the arm. It was like a Bonnie and Clyde type of thing. But Sean Penn's tear's not dead. Pretty brutal. Pretty violent. Blood squibs. Can you imagine that was the end of the movie, but it's not. Blood just dripping down. Yeah, I think he only goes towards Christopher Walken, so, like, what about the other people? I mean, I know this is based on a true story, but again, how much of that is true? How much of it is embellished? It's always embellished if it's based on a true story. There's always embellishment. That's nice effects there. Show the bullet wound and such. Nice effects. I mean, why is kind of... He's put nothing on it, so... Oh, there you go. I was going to say... Put something on it to stop the bleeding. Interesting close-up shots that really show just the nastiness of these wounds. I guess if he shot the others, then he would be arrested and all this other stuff, and that would come up. So that's why you couldn't do the whole, because it's based on a true story and all that. It's not Death Wish, so even though it has justifiable clause, if you just went in and found the others and shot him, the cops would be arresting him, prosecuting him, blah blah blah, investigation, blah blah blah. So instead, you have this bit here. Definitely knew where that gun was. But this is a good dramatic scene, I'll say that. Very good. Probably my favorite scene in the movie. Everybody says it's the culmination of it all. Just two good actors working together. Sean Penn in his prime and Christopher Walken. Because I guess the thing, again, if you went all Death Wish, you'd be wondering, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? He killed this person, he killed this person. There's a lot more complicated in real life than it is in the movies. You shoot on people in the movies, and everything work out fine. Here, though, it's there you go. I'm laughing because now it's Walken's turn to be steered. So is the son like the father? That's sort of the question. Granted, Sean Penn would have absolutely every justification for it. You killed my girlfriend, you killed my brother, you killed, two of my friends. I mean, pretty damn good justification in my opinion. Good wide shot here too. Nice use of the widescreen format. Opposite ends. Just how much the son is like the father. And if, Better be counting your bullets. And there you go. I'm not you. Exactly, I'm not you. Look at that blood loss in them. Yeah, so now we're getting to our final bits of the movie. We got well, two of the guys there. Okay, I see the others behind them. There's Tifer. Well, Tifer, you made it at least. Yeah, and just interesting that, Tifer Sutherland's the one who survives. Like, it just seemed kind of random that, okay, one of them, I guess just the idea just to have someone survive, and, like, maybe there was more shot about his character and it was cut out, or. And there's Tifer Sutherland right there getting the screen time. Maybe it's like the director, hey, there's something to this kid. I'm gonna let him live, and I'm gonna give him like a shot, and people go, "Ooh, who's that?" But no, I can't think of much of any lines he had in the movie, or even like big conversation. Here's the testimony, where he has the breakdown. Well, maybe not breakdown, but just that. Yeah, there you go. After everything, just letting it all out. In that freeze frame. Putting great music there. Really sells the punch to that. And there you go. Yeah, Live to Tell by Madonna. Right front and center, Live to Tell. Run by Patrick Leonard and Madonna. I thought Madonna has the biggest fucking. I guess they were trying to hope to sell the movie. Like, you just hear the new song by Madonna if you don't see this movie. So, yeah, Kiefer Sutherland is Tim. And he's above Stephen Jeffers and Crispin Glover, who actually had a bit more screen time, so. Maybe the director just saw Kiefer and went, I like this guy. There's something about him, so I'm just going to keep him around, and you live, and I'm going to give you a single shot near the end of the film, and maybe the director do something. I don't know. But, with that said, thanks for watching. Thanks once again, Shawn. And we'll see you guys later.